And good morning. What a difference a day makes. Yesterday I could see hundreds, if not thousands, of stars in the sky. That was so crystal clear. Today I don't see a single star. All I see is clouds everywhere. And that's okay, because change is good. Contrast is wonderful. Today I'm going to talk about momentum, and I've entitled this Ninth Wave, Momentum is on Our Side. And I almost don't like using the word side since it implies separation. Nevertheless, in our 3D reality, that is how everything appears. We take sides. Actually, the drama is simply the dance of awakening to as everyone's consciousness is raised. To understand what's happening, we must allow ourselves the overview. How does it look from the divine perspective? I was going to talk yesterday about UFOs because every time that I go out in the atrium and I look up in the sky, whether it's in the early morning or in the evening or later at night, I often watch with the anticipation and hope that I would actually see a UFO, close up, sort of, and actually see it moving or stopping. And all I've ever seen is streaks across the sky. I saw one again yesterday morning, as I mentioned briefly, and I've seen streaks before, but that's all. That's all I ever see. It's just streaks of light going across the sky. And I remember back a couple of years ago when there was supposed to be a big showing on the 14th of October, which of course did not happen, to the disappointment of thousands of people around the world. But I have been watching for UFOs. I watched saw a video yesterday that said there will be no ETs, there are no extraterrestrials, there's only angels. And there's Satan's angels and there's God's angels. And I watched again the taking of sides. As that's what we've been well versed in. We've been well versed in this polarization of opposites. From God's perspective, folks, that's changing. When I wrote the title, I wasn't even thinking of talking about UFOs and stuff like that. That just, when I started talking about the sky, I went back to where I was yesterday and what I was thinking yesterday as I sat down to do the morning video. What I was thinking this morning, however, is how so many people across the United States are finally jumping on the bandwagon, and the protests are becoming more and more widespread. Occupy Wall Street has become a major happening as various unions in New York are now joining, as pilots from United and Continental have joined, as some celebrity status has been occurring. I don't think this is going to go away until the change is actually here. And I think this is a wonderful thing, and I'm encouraging everyone that can to be part of the demonstrations. I think there's some things being planned in Florida, and I will probably participate in some of those that are closest to me after my trip to New Jersey to my school reunion, which, by the way, I'm looking forward to with great anticipation. I'm getting my car checked out today. I've done several things to bring it up to snuff. My car is over 10 years old, and will be the first time in 6 years that it will have left the state of Florida. So I'm trusting that I am granted a peaceful and wonderful trip, and I'm sure I will be. I see myself up there having a good time, and I see myself arriving home and doing videos every day. Although on Wednesday next week I'll probably do 2 videos on the same day, one in the morning and one again at night, to count as Thursday's video. That's my plan at this point. And the timing may be off somewhat during that time that I'm away. I don't know exactly yet. My routine will be broken, so I will be in a new discipline, so to speak. I am very disciplined at getting up early and doing my meditation and coming and doing my video. But that will be a different environment for me, and we'll see how it happens. But I am greatly, greatly encouraged as I watch some of the videos and see so many of the emails and notifications that come across my desk. I'm so amazed and excited. I realize that the handwriting is on the wall. Anybody that really has an honest heart and an open mind and looks at these things will see what is happening. For so long we've been stuck, and we're still stuck to a great degree, in the duel between the dark and the light, between the apparent good guys and the apparent bad guys. And I've talked about this before from the perspective, from the highest perspective, the divine perspective. When I am able to catch the glimpse of things from God's point of view, it looks different than it does from my point of view sitting here. And that's what I meant a couple of days ago when I said, see without, see what's going on in the outer world, but look within. Because looking within is where I get the divine perspective from. Because I know that it's all love. I know that it is a dance, not a duel. Even when it appears to be a duel. That's part of the illusion of separation. That's why I don't like, as I said, using the word taking sides. But standing in truth is taking a side. It's taking the side of, I want to be in truth. I want to be in love, because that honors my being, and it honors the being of every other person, even those that are still lost in the illusion, even those that are still convinced that sides are important. They are important in the dance. But what the lesson is in the illusion is to learn to love, to learn to dance with each other instead of dueling with each other. Yesterday, in respect to my son's dilemma, I spent time with the three main participants, and I love every one of them. I really do. My daughter thinks that I'm being naive, and she thinks my son is being naive, that they're just using her. And to a great degree they are. But folks, I'm learning that there's always mirrors involved. None of them, and I said this to all three of them, none of them are telling me 100% of the truth. They're telling me their perspective of the truth, and sometimes that's an angry perspective and a distorted perspective. And that's true in all of our lives. We see things through our own lens, through our own interpretation of what's going on. And sometimes two people can look at the same thing and describe what happened, but their description, their interpretation of what happened is different from each point of view. My son's friends, they need a place to stay. My son has, for the time being, provided the place to stay. They all know that that cannot continue. My son knows that he has to let go of drinking alcohol, because these issues that come up, these dramas that arise usually because of drinking. And he has had that under control at times in his life, where he's been really, really good at it. And as even his friend said, he's such a nice guy when he's not drinking. When he drinks, it's like there's a transformation that occurs. And that's true with a lot of people. They cannot handle even one or two drinks. And that may be true in my son's case. It appears to be. And he needs to own that. And as I said, I'm learning to be the peacemaker with first-hand experience of dealing with people that I care about. And as I said, all of these people were in my life independently of each other. It wasn't because they all of a sudden showed up in my son's life that I got to know these other two people. I knew them both before my son did. Before my son did. And yesterday, the mother of the young man who is now living under my son's roof temporarily, was her birthday. And I didn't even bother her with it because I didn't want to mess up her birthday. But anyway, there are interesting dynamics that are taking place in our individual lives and in our collective life as human beings. All of the things that have plagued humanity from time immemorial, from the beginning of time, are now coming to the surface with greater force than ever before, greater clarity than ever before. We're getting the opportunity to look at these things. We're being forced to look at our lives, like it or not. And the people that don't like change don't like it. I understand that. I get that. And there's times that I'd like everything to be normal, whatever normal is to me, because it's comfortable. I can be comfortable in my routine. And our routines are being broken. And this is a challenge for us, but yet at the same time an opportunity for us to grow up, for us to learn to love one another and make that choice. We've got to see that even the bankers, even the government officials, and the people that have corrupted our world have been an essential part in our own awakening. The people that have come into our personal lives and pushed our buttons all over the place. They've aroused our emotions. They have awakened us, folks. There's only facets of the divine everywhere you look. There are no two sides. It's not the devil and God. That's an illusion. Is there a being that plays the role of the devil? Are there men and women and perhaps fallen angels that play these dark roles? Of course there are. Of course there are. Nevertheless, nothing is separate from God. No one, no thing. It cannot be, because God is everywhere. That was one of the things that we were talking about yesterday in our book study group. Dare to be yourself. Our Mystics in Training group that I meet with every Thursday, except I won't next Thursday. Anyway, it's all part of God. And that's the lesson that we're trying to get. It's on the side, when I say it is on our side, it's on the side of us finally getting it. That we are each part of the other. That nothing anybody does can be separated from the whole. Because everything that you and I do affects everyone else. When we finally get that, we learn to live with wisdom. We learn to be compassionate. We learn to see things from the other point of view, the other perspective. And we recognize that somewhere in us is the same perspective. If we look deeply enough, if we look at ourselves long enough, we see that it's all part of us. The things that I don't like and react to most, I have tendencies and characteristics in me, if I'm honest with myself, that these things that I so despise are in me too. Like a dream that I talked about, the pedophilia dream that I talked about a week or two ago. It's got to be in me or I wouldn't be dreaming it, right? Now, some people have the belief system of some thoughts are my thoughts, but other thoughts aren't my thoughts. I've never quite bought that scenario. Because if I've thought the thought, if it's been there, well, while it was there, it was mine. You know, it's part of me. But see, I see myself as a microcosm of the macrocosm. I see myself as God having a human experience. But everything that's God is also me. I am part of God. I am an expression of God. And if it is included in part of God, it is included in me. And that's what I mean when I say momentum is on our side. It's on the side of us finally, after millenniums, finally getting it and being able to create a new heaven and a new earth. And is it God giving it to us? Yes, it is. But God's not giving it to us separate from us. It's not just a gift that's handed out to us that we just have to take it. No, we have to awaken to it. We have to remember who we are. Oh, my God, I went over. I didn't even look at the clock all of this time ticking away, and it was already over 15 minutes. And I haven't even reached a closing point, but it's going to have to be a closing point. So once again, I thank you for listening. Abrupt ending. I do love each one of you, and I thank the many wonderful responses I got yesterday for my son. And I'm grateful again for all that's going on in our world, all the people that are finally getting it, finally waking up. Thank you so much. I bless you. Namaste.